text, audio, and video news of the globe from Scientific Television. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe with us. Thank you.
Now listen to the headline news. Footage shows violent clashes as Iran protests spread to more areas. Oligarch linked to bribery paid Andrew £15 million for mansion. Heat wave hits Australia as officials warn of catastrophic fire risk. Vance criticizes Denmark and Europe's handling of critical Greenland. Influential China church reports arrests as crackdown on Christians intensifies. Cambodia extradites alleged scam mastermind to China after arrest. Australia PM announces royal commission into Bondi shooting. Trump calls for U.S. military spending to rise more than 50% to $1.5 trillion. Who was Renee Nicole Good, the woman killed by ICE? U.S. will control Venezuela oil sales indefinitely, official says. Whoever signed off England's tour has to go, Agnew column. Protests in Minneapolis after woman shot dead by U.S. immigration agent. NASA considers whether to bring sick crew member back to Earth. A new Bollywood film spotlights a forgotten India-China battle. Tracking the oil tankers seized by the U.S. Now listen to the main detailed news. Violent clashes erupted across Iran as anti-government protests entered their 11th day, spreading to 111 cities nationwide. Demonstrators confronted security forces with stones, while police used gunfire and tear gas. At least 34 protesters and several security personnel were killed, and thousands were arrested. Protests were reported in Tehran, Mashhad, Abadan, Qazvin, and other cities, with slogans targeting Iran's leadership and symbols of power. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor received millions from Kazakh billionaire Timur Kulabayev, who used funds from Enviro Pacific Investments, a company linked to a past bribery scheme, to buy the former prince's mansion, Sunning Hill Park, for £15 million. The transaction raised concerns over possible proceeds of crime, offshore structures, and inflated pricing. Andrew and the royal family have not commented, and the property later remained unoccupied and was eventually demolished. Parts of Australia are facing catastrophic fire conditions as a major heatwave spreads across the country, excluding Queensland. Victoria has declared a total fire ban, with schools and childcare centres closing, while other states face high temperatures and elevated fire dangers. Melbourne recorded 40.9 degrees Celsius, coastal Western Australia hit 49 degrees Celsius, and Sydney is forecast to reach 42 degrees. Firefighters are battling multiple blazes, with planes deployed to control fires near Wodonga and other areas. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has called Greenland critical for global missile defense against potential Russian or Chinese attacks, criticizing Denmark and Europe for underinvesting in its security. The Trump administration is reportedly discussing a potential offer to buy the island, a semi-autonomous Danish territory, while military annexation has also been suggested. Greenland and Denmark have firmly rejected the idea, warning that any attempt to buy or seize the island could threaten NATO relations. Authorities in China have detained leaders of prominent underground Protestant churches, including Early Rain Covenant Church in Chengdu, while demolishing Yayang Church in Wenzhou. 9 church members were arrested, with some released, and others, including Li Yingcheng and his wife, remain in custody. Videos show heavy police presence and machinery dismantling church buildings. These actions form part of a broader campaign against unauthorized Christian congregations, highlighting ongoing repression of religious activity outside state-sanctioned institutions. Cambodia has extradited billionaire Chen Zi to China, accused of orchestrating a massive cryptocurrency scam that used trafficked workers in forced labor camps to defraud victims worldwide. Chen and two other Chinese nationals were arrested after a joint investigation. The US charged Chen last year with running internet scams that stole billions, while the UK sanctioned his Prince Group empire. Cambodia has also suspended Prince Bank, a subsidiary of Prince Group. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has announced a royal commission into last month's Bondi Beach shooting, which killed 15 people during a Jewish festival, marking one of the deadliest attacks in the country's history. The commission, led by former High Court Justice Virginia Bell, will investigate anti-Semitism, extremist threats, and the circumstances surrounding the attack. It has powers to summon witnesses, access documents, and offer legal protections, with an interim report expected by April 2026. President Donald Trump has called for a substantial increase in U.S. defense spending, proposing a $1.5 trillion military budget for 2027, up more than 50% from the current $901 billion level approved by Congress. He described the rise as necessary in very troubled and dangerous times and framed it as building a dream military to keep the nation secure. Trump also criticized defense contractors over pay and production delays. Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother of three, was fatally shot by a federal immigration agent in Minneapolis while serving as a legal observer for ICE activities. Good, a prize-winning poet and hobby guitarist, had recently moved to the city. Her death has triggered nationwide protests, with people demanding justice. Public figures and community members are calling attention to the circumstances of the shooting and the official response. The U.S. will control sales of sanctioned Venezuelan oil indefinitely, while preparing to ease restrictions on its crude exports, starting with 30 to 50 million barrels. Revenue from the sales will be managed by the U.S. government to maintain leverage over Venezuela. Officials claim funds will be used to stabilize the Venezuelan economy and benefit the people, though details on how much will be shared with Venezuela remain unclear.